in this episode I'm going to do a 2-year review on my RADMINI, and I'm just going to leave it right here. I'm not going to do anything. I'm leaving it here just to show you, and let me back up here a little bit so you can see how small this is. It's a very small bicycle, okay, and that it's so small you could fit it in the back of your SUV. And I don't need a bike rack. If you have two, I haven't tried this because I don't need to, I guess. But I can actually, if I wanted to, I can put the seat forward, both the seats forward, and if you arrange the bike instead of this way, right, instead of this way, horizontally, you could arrange them vertically and have a spot here and a spot right here, and you could essentially have two bikes in here. That's if I put the seats down, the back seats down, and then you have two people in the front. So yeah, you can take two bikes with you. You don't need a bike rack, and that's one of the reasons why I like the RADMINI, because it's a folding electric bike, and because of that, I can literally take this bike anywhere, and I have. If you've seen my review of the Rad Rover, not the Rad Rover, review of the Rad Runner, I went down to Galveston Island. They had a rental, and Rad Power Bikes was having a program where you could ride for 15 minutes for free. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's what I did. And so went down to Galveston. I took my RADMINI with me, my bike, after testing out the Rad Rover, or the Rad Runner. So after testing out the Rad Runner, what I did was I went out to Galveston, went to the beach, had a great time, went back to the car, loaded up in the car, and just drove back home. And so there's not much I've done with this. In the 2 years that I've ridden this bike, I've pretty much have just maintained it. I recently purchased new tires. I purchased the one with the reflective walls. I haven't put them on yet. What I did do was, this was the rear tire, and this is about 2,000 miles of tread wear. I put the front tire in the rear, so you can see the tread on that. The front never wears out compared to the back, so all I did was rotate the tires, and I'm just going to wear them out and then put on the new ones. So I haven't, after 2,000 miles, I haven't even changed the tires yet. I've rotated them. Let me see, the brakes. I have changed out the brake pads. So about every 2,000 miles, you need to change out the brake pads. I don't really adjust them all that much, mainly because I don't need to. How I adjust them is that there's a little nut back here that will push in the brake pad closer as the brake padding wears out. That's all I do. I don't really adjust the brakes by turning this. I just simply just adjust the back part right here, and that's it. And that's every once in a while. One of my first issues on this was the controller. I did a controller replacement. When I first got this bike, the controller was working decently, but what happened was the front light stopped working. And so I called Rad Power Bikes. This is like within a month when I first got this 2 years ago, and they sent me a wiring harness. Well, they sent me a light, didn't work. Wiring harness, the light still didn't work. Then they sent me a controller, and that probably was the issue. And so I didn't replace the controller. I kept the wiring harness. I didn't bother with the light because I added my own light. And only recently did that become an issue, and I did a video on that called whatever it is. I'll show a picture of it somewhere. And so after I did that, I was still having issues with the ghost throttling. It was ghost throttling. It was doing some weird things. Finally, the display stopped working, and so what eventually happened was I replaced the wiring harness. I contacted Red Power Bikes. They told me it was the wiring harness, so I replaced the wiring harness because I had one from previously that they sent me, and everything works now. So it didn't cost me anything. All this problem happened during the first, definitely first year of the warranty. But now that I've owned it for 2 years, I think that it should be easy to troubleshoot and maintain this bike. The front fork works really well. I do tie it, when I put it in here, I do tie it up with this rope attached to the back seat. I don't know if you see that right there. It's right back here. I tie it onto where the back seat latches onto the left and the right side. And so so when I drive, it stays in place. And so again, I immensely enjoy the RADMINI because of the smaller wheels. It has way better torque, and I'm able to go up hills. You've probably seen the hill test that I did maybe almost a year ago, and you know, this bike made it up the hill without any issues. And so the smaller wheels give it a lot of torque. This is the ultimate mobile electric bike. If you have issues with storage, but you have an SUV or maybe even a car with a big trunk, you could fit, and if you're able to fit this car in your, you're able to fit the RADMINI into your car or vehicle, this is a great solution. It's very mobile, and I don't need, and I repeat, I don't need a bike rack. I just put it in the car and it works really well. And so my final thoughts on it is that if I had to do it all over again, would I buy a RADMINI? Yes, I still would buy a RADMINI. This is a 2018 model. I have the older rear light that's manual, but it's all right. It doesn't matter. If you get a newer one, the newer ones have a new controller. Mine is set up differently. Mine has the older controller. I think that what gives it a little bit more torque, a little bit more pep. It's definitely feels when you crank it off from the start, it jerks you, it pulls you, so you definitely feel the torque. As far as the new one, I can't compare it other than comparing it to the RADMINI Step Through, which has the current version of the controller that you most likely see, and that one is a little bit smoother. And again, the only reason why you would feel the difference is not because of the controller, it's because of the wheels, mainly because of the wheel size. The wheel size makes a huge difference. So really like this bike, and really happy. I'm really happy with the bike, and it's it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Would I buy it again? Yes, I would buy it again. And so best feature of the RADMINI, okay, at least my model 2018, the torque, the takeoff speed, the foldability and mobility of this electric bicycle. It's so, look how small it is. It fits in my SUV perfectly. Anyways, I'm going to conclude this episode, so feel free to like, dislike, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me about your experience with your RADMINI. Until next time, everyone, hope you enjoyed the 2-year review. Bye.